Bryan, Texas Utilities has been using the same utility building space since the 60s, and expansion with additional space is long overdue. David Worley, Executive Director of Business and Customer Operations at Bryan, Texas Utilities, says within Bryan city limits, there's been around a 2–2.5% growth over the last dozen years.
Out in the rural areas, even bigger in some areas. And so we've got a lot more customers. In that time frame, we've added about 22,000 customers or so. BTU is up to almost 65,000 customers. So we have not expanded facilities since the 60s.
The former Bryan Armory building has been sitting vacant for nearly 10 years. Demolition has started to take place at the site on West Carson Street and will wrap up over the next 2 weeks.
The BTU board authorized the demolition of these buildings, and so that's been going great. All the hazardous materials that were in there from the old time building materials that contained asbestos and things like that have been removed. So the building was remediated for any kind of hazardous material.
Worley says the current BTU building was once a city hall building and was never really designed to be a utility building, and a new and improved facility will better serve its customers, including its drive-through operation. Over the last 5 months, BTU has had around 31,000 in-person payments. Worley believes around 80% of those came from this drive-through, keeping these 2 lanes pretty busy.
We only have 2 drive-through lanes, and they do back up really quickly right onto the street. In this new facility, we'll be able to design it to be a utility building. We plan to expand the drive-through lanes because people like drive-through lanes. And so we're trying to make sure that it's the customer-friendly experience to come to the utilities.
News of the expansion is music to the ears of longtime BTU customer Brenda Sanchez.
More space. We need a bigger drive-through. If they can accommodate, 3 or 4 lines where we're not so packed up into the driveway. And that's what I'm hoping for. That or, even more windows up at the front, a bigger lobby.
Sanchez says BTU has been serving her family since 1967, and then her and her husband became customers in 1983, and has seen the inevitable growth Bryan has endured.
Bryan needs to grow. So, it is growing. Bryan is growing, and so I would like to see something more modern.
Worley says the current BTU building will eventually serve as additional office spaces for the city of Bryan, and he hopes this new facility will serve BTU customers for the next 30 to 50 years. Reporting in Bryan, Hannah King, KRHD News.